Hey, everybody. We are a little less than 3 weeks away from CBP Connects Charleston, presented by Arryved POS. I cannot wait. There's going to be 12 interactive sessions. There's going to be 3 nightly receptions with beers on CBP, thanks to all of our partners. There's going to be a trade show, and there's going to be so much more. So we're here today to get you excited. There's still time to join us in Charleston. It's December 4, 5, and 6. You can go to cbpconnects.com to grab your registration now. But now I'd love to just chat with some of the people who will be joining us face-to-face in just a few weeks. And Josh, because you are to the right of me, you get to tell everybody a little bit about yourself first.
Yeah, no, super excited to be seeing everybody again in person in Charleston. Always love engaging with the CBP community, whether it's, panels or just the conversation that's happening online through the community. So yeah, my name's Josh Lindsay. I'm with MarketMyBrewery, which is under the BrewLogix umbrella. Yeah, really excited. We've had a lot of really cool things happen this year, from launching our mobile application, which has thousands of consumers kind of exploring, routing, and finding their next brewery experience, building some really robust tools that we're excited to unveil in the coming months for brewers. Some digital menu options, some other things that allow them just to kind of put their products in the spotlight. So really excited to be here today, and really looking forward to some cold frosties in Charleston.
Josh, I feel like it was forever for us to finally meet. Now I see you everywhere.
Yeah, no, it's funny. I remember I was telling the story the other day, like the community was, I think, maybe a couple thousand, maybe even smaller than that. Maybe it was under 2,000 when we first started kind of interacting online. And now to see what it's turned into, and to see just the massive amount of engagement and the people that it's brought together has been really cool. So always enjoy seeing your face.
Well, appreciate you as well, Josh. Rachel, you're up.
Yeah. Hey, everybody. My name is Rachel Kesley. I'm with Arryved. I do partnerships over here for the team these days. I'm really excited about being in person for CBP Connects. It's my first in-person one. I've done a few virtuals, so I'm excited to see everybody out in Charleston. Also my first time in Charleston, so excited to, get everything, meet everybody there. And yeah, over here at Arryved, we're the POS for the craft industry. And so we're really excited about some things we have coming up early next year, and excited to kind of have the conversation going with our panel in Charleston in a few weeks.
I can't wait. We'll learn more about that panel shortly. Tranice, always a pleasure to see you. I think you have perfect attendance so far at CBP Connects. Is that correct?
Hey, yes, it is.
So what do you do in the world of beer, Tranice?
Oh, goodness. Well, recently and now I am one of the co-founders of Lifting Lucy since 2021, late 2021. And we support anyone who identifies as women of color in the brewing industry for networking events, professional development opportunities. And so we have a lot of amazing things coming up the end of this year and next year as well. Looking forward to that. And then I also do some support. I'm on the DI Education Committee for the Brewers Association and the Craft Brewers Conference Seminar Subcommittee, among, I'm sure, as we all are, wearing millions of other hats as well. So I'm super, super excited for this one in particular, because I have never been
in Nashville. But for anyone who hasn't interacted with you before, what in the world do you do?
So I am the director of hospitality for Monday Night Brewing, which basically anything operations for our tap rooms, private events. And as far as scouting out and opening up new locations for Monday Night Brewing, kind of all falls underneath my umbrella. So the way I describe it is anything customer facing, it's going to be myself.
So I haven't asked you before, but what can we do to get a Monday Night Brewing in Norfolk, Virginia?
Oh, that's a wonderful question. Start selling our beer more in your market. I think we got to get a market up there first, and then the tap room follows.
I do think we need to get that market first. Would love to have your beer locally. Now, Anthony, while I've got you, what are all those medals behind you?
That's a wonderful question. I haven't actually counted all of them. A lot of the medals are for the U.S. Beer Open. And then we have our other ones from the GABF. It's our third year in a row winning the Triple Crown at all 3 of our big competitions. So we're extremely happy and pleased with that. And our production team's kind of been on a nonstop high celebrating over the past couple of years.
Yeah, we definitely need some Monday night in Virginia.
Yeah, absolutely. I will try my best, I promise.
So for everyone here today, we're going to talk about CBP Connects and why we're excited for Charleston shortly. But for each of you, whether personally or with your business, I'd love to hear what you're most excited about right now. Whether it's in the world of beer, some win you've had personally, what's getting you excited these days? Apparently there is no excitement in the room right now. Josh,
I can jump in. I think the exciting thing is, this industry is gone through ups and downs and continues to evolve and grow. And I think we found ourselves in a spot that some may not see as exciting, but I truly do think it is exciting to see how we're going to continue to bring others into the fold. We've now found ourselves in a position where just simply throwing something out there isn't enough. And so the fact that now that people are having to be a little bit more intentional and thoughtful in the products that they create and the experience that they create, I think is going to ultimately make this industry so much better, so much more robust, and make this community even stronger. So I'm really excited to see how innovators and entrepreneurs and brewers are going to come together to really continue to make this the best industry in the world to be in. I love this industry. I've met some amazing people over a pint of beer. It knows no bounds, albeit it's got a little bit more expensive over the decade. But I'm really looking forward to continuing to see what brewers come out with, what experiences are created, and to continue to meet like-minded individuals.
Yeah, the innovation aspect is key. It fascinates me so much.
Yeah, what really excites me right now about the brewing industry is the transition that I've seen for a lot of breweries. Of me personally, I've been in the hospitality industry my entire life, where now breweries and other places are starting to realize that we're no longer just in the brewing industry. We're no longer just a manufacturer. We're taking the step into the hospitality industry. We are hospitality industry focused businesses now. So it's been very fascinating and a lot of fun kind of making that transition between brewery to hospitality focused.
Anthony, are there any good books or podcasts or anything you've read that kind of inspires you on the hospitality front?
Recent one, I'm going to jump on this kind of bandwagon train because it's just such a well-written book, is Unreasonable Hospitality.
If you didn't say it, I was going to say it.
Yeah, everyone's been reading it for a reason. There's a lot of really good stuff in that book.
I wish I had it right here on my desk. Oh, I do have it right here on my desk. So a couple months after reading that book, I was driving through the middle of nowhere, Virginia, and I stopped at a little coffee shop because I'd been driving for a bit, just wanted coffee to pick me up, tastes good. And when I got my coffee, they put this little, you can't even see it right. This little guy, maybe you can kind of see it, in the little hole so the coffee didn't spill out, but it made my day. It's just a little smiley face on top of it. And, the cup of coffee was great. I don't really remember it, but I don't want to throw this away because it's just so awesome. That's the little hospitality touches I love.
I think I'll second Josh. My first love and careers were in environmental science. And same thing with the innovation we're seeing today, and really connecting that to our packaging, our manufacturing, and really making sure that what we're doing is going to be sustainable. So I'm really, really excited to see what comes forth with that as well.
Do you think we're going to start seeing the words sustainable and just sustainability appear more in our industry?
I hope not, honestly, because I think it's just good business practice overall. So, we can kind of beat things to death. So my hope is not. It's just good business practice.
I like it. Rachel?
Yeah, I was going to kind of mirror what everybody else said is, I come from the hospitality world. So I ran a brewery and was a chef for the first couple of decades of my career, and kind of being able to talk to businesses right now from a technology standpoint and seeing really what they're doing, the creative ways that they're actively, making better spaces of their tap rooms, or adding food, or really, expanding beyond making just the amazing beer of why we're all in this industry, and then really kind of creating that space, safe spaces for people to be, and really leaning into that hospitality aspect. So.
Love it. So Rachel, you'll be moderating a panel in Charleston. Tell us a little bit about that and what we can expect.
Yeah, so we have a really awesome group coming together to talk about benchmarking beer pricing. And so, hot topic right now, prices have kind of risen across the board. And so what are some of those best practices to still, get the most out of your margins while also create, not overpricing or underpricing your beer, and making those customers coming in really excited and still happy even with ever-changing prices.
And I love the panels. I always love having people around me to learn from them. So who's going to be joining you in Charleston on that stage?
Yeah, we have an amazing accountant and advisor, Maria Pierman, is going to be on our panel. And then we have a couple of brewery owners, Chris Rainier, who owns Indigo Brewing Company, as well as Pierce Fleming, who is with Common House Ale Works. And I'll be myself.
And we're going to be having our night 2 reception at Common House Ale Works. Pearson, so many people in South Carolina have been very welcoming to us. We can't wait to showcase Charleston.
Yeah, excited as well.
Now, Anthony, you're not moderating a panel, but you're on a panel. What are we going to be talking about when you take the stage?
So we're going to be talking about all the ways you can increase your taproom sales and taproom experience as far as expanding on taproom locations. So looking at adding in locations and all the ways that we can increase our sales.
I don't want to spoil too much of what you're going to say when we get to Charleston, but what are some of the simple strategies? Give me just one little tip of something that you're doing to increase sales in Monday night taprooms these days.
Wow, that is an extreme.
Take it however you wish.
It's a very loaded question, but if I were to land on one, it would be increasing our offerings. So expanding what we have in our tap rooms to appeal to a wider audience with all the expanding beverage offerings and kind of craft trends that we're seeing through the market of keeping up with those and just broadening our horizon just from beer.
Are there any specific beverages you're seeing more success with?
Yeah, absolutely. Liquor across the board. So we just got our distilling license and we started making our own alcohol in-house, and it's just been overwhelmingly positive.
No, that's fantastic. I want to try it someday. I don't get to visit Monday night except when I go down south.
Maybe I'll bootleg a bottle up there with me.
I won't tell anybody.
Yeah.
So Josh, you've been to a few CBP Connects before. What's something about the experience that surprised you? Before you even came that first time, your expectations versus actually what happened. What's something that surprised you?
Yeah, I think, obviously I've been a big fan, like I said earlier, of this community, but I think really what surprised me was just how engaging it truly was. I've been to a lot of industry related conferences, things that have been a couple hundred people, things that have been tens of thousands of your new best friends, one might say. So I think for me, the most surprising thing, honestly, it shouldn't be surprising because of what you've been able to accomplish and what the community's been able to build, but just the true engagement with folks. Everyone there was there to better themselves and to better each other. And I found that just to be a very refreshing experience, simply because a lot of what's happening in the industry now is how do we make things cheaper? How do we make things more affordable? How do we continue to kind of get more for our buck? And really what I think CBP Connects does is, yeah, we touch on some of those things, but really it's people sharing best practices, people sharing the passion that they have for the industry. And that was a really refreshing experience that ultimately I needed. This industry can be tough mentally, physically. You give everything you have to it. So the surprising thing for me was definitely just the amount of passion and kind of that reignition of the spark that's always kind of been burning deep down inside.
I love it. We all crave human connections, and there's so much we can learn from one another, and having that energy in one room is totally special. Tranice,
Sure.
What about you? You've been to quite a few now. What's something that's kind of surprising you, or maybe still surprising you?
I think with each one, you could possibly assume that, there's nothing new under the sun you may learn. But for me in particular, sometimes just going and actually getting those refreshers and those reminders, because you're always working and working, and having those reminders say, take a step back, look at these items, look at your brewery, or, look at how you're doing your business. So I really love to have that as almost a refresher course for me. But most of all, I just love the people there. I think the way that you have really set it up, like Josh said, it's just a beautiful time with some amazing people, and it's just the right size where it's not overwhelming, especially if it is your first time. It's something that you can really, really, be yourself, be open and honest, and say, listen, my brewery has no clue how to do this. Is there someone that can help me with that? And there's so many people there that are willing to help. So I just think it's just a great atmosphere. So I'm going to continue to go because I just love it. And I love the people that I meet there.
And everybody just comes for those conversations. It's so great to learn from all the presenters on stage. But then, once the educational portion ends, we go to the receptions, the conversations continue. And that's where you have the intimate opportunity to just network one-on-one and just learn from other people. And it's so silly, but like on night one, you're going to meet a stranger. On night two, you're going to get to know them a little bit better. And night three, you have a friend or a contact in the industry you can just keep reaching out to. And it's so, I really am trying not to use the word sappy, but I'll use the word sappy. It's just that feel good atmosphere where you have someone you can reach out to for future, whatever you need.
Absolutely.
So, Rachel and Anthony, you've never been before. Rachel, you've never even been to Charleston like myself. Anthony, have you been to Charleston?
I've never been to Charleston either. And honestly, y'all are setting some really high expectations. So I'm excited.
So what are you excited for, though?
Honestly, meeting a lot of people in the industry. It's very easy to get caught up in work and to get siloed very quickly. I make a joke all the time, and obviously it's not true, but I'm like, some things will appear in Atlanta, for example, and I'm like, oh no, they don't let me out of the tap rooms. And so to actually reach out and to be able to talk to people in the same industry and that I can connect with, I'm very excited to do.
Yeah, no, I'm excited because you and I have talked quite a bit over the years, but it'll be nice to actually have that dedicated time. We're in the same place. We're not rushing to give a presentation, then rush to the next meeting. We're going to actually spend time together, and I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm sure you're frustrated with my 7-day, 2-week lead time email responses. So you definitely kind of understand where I'm coming from.
I won't call you out there, but will you bring me a Hawaiian shirt to match you?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, we have a tradition at the brewery. We do, it's not Friday right now, but I just get so excited for it that I preemptively do it. But we do Flamingo and Floral Fridays here at the brewery with the production staff and the tap rooms, and it's fun. Wednesdays are actually onesie Wednesdays, but that's not as professional for me to wear out and about.
I won't ask any questions on that one. No, Rachel, I am so excited for you to come to your first CBP Connects. I appreciate Arryved so much and all you have done to help support CBP. But you personally, why are you excited to be there?
I mean, just from the energy that I have experienced of team members going to the CBP Connects over the years, I've heard nothing but amazing things on, obviously Andrew creates an incredible community within an already incredible community, right? So the CBP folks are truly, some of the best. And I'm really excited to be part of the thought leadership and educational pieces of it. I mean, that's really kind of what I do for our company these days is, get to talk to other vendors and breweries and really just, kind of round table what's working for folks over on one side of the country might work for folks on the other side. And really that community piece of, hey, let's all, let's lift the boat together. And the rising tide is kind of being part of those educational pieces. So, and Charleston, as a former chef, I mean, I'm coming in a couple days early just to eat my way through Charleston, coming in on Saturday evening just to have a little bit of extra time. So it has been a bucket list for sure. And I grew up in Tennessee and was so close and never got over there. So I'm excited.
Do you have any food places restaurants? Why did I say food places? That was silly. Any restaurants already on your map that you're planning to visit?
I'm a big Sean Brock fan, so I will kind of go wherever he has an imprint on. I have a whole list that I would take maybe the whole extra hour for us to go through, but I've got a good Google map rolling, and we have some team members actually living in Charleston right now too. So taking all recommendations.
I might have to hit you up later to see what those top recommendations are.
Mm-hmm.
So Josh, you've been to a few CBP Connects now, and it's a lot different than the larger events you mentioned where you have 10,000 of your closest industry friends. For those events, it's hard to have an intimate conversation. And even when you go to places like the trade show, it feels like people are just there to sell you something for the most part because they're just seeing so many people. There's not really time to build that connection with someone on the brewing side of things. How do you approach the CBP Connects differently from the vendor standpoint?
I think for us, it's the ability to not have to feel like, okay, I have 10 seconds of this person's attention. So like, I just kind of need to do whatever I can to get them to just engage, get a contact, and then let them go on with their day. I think for us, we really appreciate the opportunity, I guess is the better way to say it, to be able to kind of sit and have a true conversation, really understand like, what are the needs? What are you looking to get? What really do we have to offer that can help elevate that experience, be a true solution? So it's a lot less transactional. And the fact that it facilitates that is great. So, again, sometimes you're just trying to get the message out, just be able to start that initial conversation. But yeah, I mean, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head where it's like, it is more than just like an introduction. It's, hey, it's an introduction on day one. On day two, we get to kind of continue that conversation. By day three, we have a trusted partner that we can continue to work with and evolve and ultimately grow together. So that to me is kind of our approach is, there's a lot to be able to see at CBP Connects as well, but because it's so much more of an intimate environment, people kind of get to learn and engage on their own time scale, and as much or as little as they'd like. And so that is really great from a vendor standpoint.
No, I really appreciate it, Josh. It's like it's a 3-step process to build those relationships is what it is. No, Rachel, at CBC in Nashville, you all had the most amazing, beautiful booth. But every time I tried to show up to talk to all my favorite Arryved people, you all were so busy talking to, potential breweries to work with. And, I'd love to hear, why a more intimate atmosphere like this is something you look forward to with regard to just building relationships with breweries you're currently interacting with or ones who are curious and learning more.
Yeah, CBC is kind of the Olympics for us. I lose my voice every year. So by the end of it, even if I could talk to you, I couldn't because it is a whisper at best. So these, kind of more intimate relationship driven shows and trade shows for us are integral. We are relationship first, technology second. Not that it's a second, fiddle or anything, but we really build the relationships within the community and the industry, and we want that to last, from trade show to customer to needing support when something happens, and that relationship really starts and can start and be continued with these more intimate shows where we can really, talk to current customers about what wins are they seeing, what issues are they having, what problems are they having, how can we help and be most beneficial for them, and then also having those current customers and then making the new relationships and partnerships are just integral in how we grow as a company and within the industry.
No, absolutely. No, I didn't really plan to ask this question, but just judging off the vibe from today, you all care so much just about people. You all are so dedicated to building relationships. So one thing I'm curious all your perspectives on is motivating staff, getting people excited to be the best they can be at their tap room and the production side of the brewery. Do you all have any strategies or advice for best practices for managers, owners, just to better excite their team to be the best they can also be?
I love this question. We do some thought leadership on and with our taproom managers who are using our product specifically, on the front lines, and we get best practices from them on how we can better our own product. And then reversely, we have a lot of people who come from the industry within our company who really know our product and can guide those GMs and those business owners, new, tenured, wherever they are within their career, from a service perspective and back to that hospitality piece on how they can actually insert the technology into making better guest experiences, which helps them, grow their business as well. So.
Yeah, I think, my background came from education, staff education, industry and education. And, what I found is to truly be a best practice is empower your people. People came to you, they actively applied to join your organization. And if you can take a little bit of time to understand what their passions are, what makes them tick, what was that initial thing that excited them about your brand, and take that and find where that fits in your organization, you'll continue to have a very loyal, a very proud, and engaging staff. And when they're proud to be where they are and they feel engaged and they feel appreciated, that appreciation extends to anybody they interact with about your brand. So, again, find, maybe your server is passionate about logistics. Hey, what are some opportunities where we can teach them and give them an opportunity to learn that route? And I have a story from my previous brewery where that's exactly what happened. And to say passionate about logistics kind of makes me laugh, but that excited them. And it was something that they didn't even know was a real opportunity in the beer space, and were able to be exposed to it and be able to go down that path. So, I think to sum that up, find what your people are passionate about and do what you can to allow them to grow and support that passion. And ultimately that will help grow your brand more than any other, mandatory training or forced fun that you could come up with.
Yeah, I think it sounds like we're all on the same page. A lot of corporations or just other people or companies that come to us, we have to remind them, the same way that you do research and analyses for your consumers is the same way you should be doing things like that for, the people that work with you. They are also your target market. And if you don't, take a look at what they are needing and just actually taking advantage of resources that are out there to help them, even if you can't do it, it could be a miss. So remembering that they're also your consumer in a way.
Yeah, you guys put it really well. That at this point, I'm kind of beating a dead horse, but servant leadership and just reinvesting in your team. Like a lot of our office staff now, I'd say a good portion of them started off in our tap rooms or production, and just giving them a means to learn and educate and really invest on the people that are investing in us. So it goes both ways. Absolutely.
Anthony, what motivates you?
What motivates me? I am one of those terribly selfish people where I just like people having a good time. You know what I'm like? I want somebody to walk into a tap room and say, like, that was the best experience I've ever had in my life, and I'm never going to forget it. If somebody's celebrating a one-year birthday party, if somebody's coming in for an anniversary, if somebody's coming in on a Tuesday after work just because they need a beer to kind of relax and unwind, I still want them to come in and be like, you know, that was honestly one of the most friendly staff members I've ever spoken to, one of the cleanest tap rooms I've ever experienced, and I'm absolutely coming back.
No, I love that so much. So we're all going to be in Charleston together in just a few weeks. Now, I'm going to lean on Josh and Tranice on this question real quick. You know, you've been to CBP Connects before. You've experienced it. What's a pro tip you want to give to people who haven't been before? How can they best prepare for this experience?
Ooh, I'll go. There is no such thing as a cool kid. You know, when we get older in particular, it gets a little harder to make friends, if you want to say it that way. And so even if you're, you know, well-versed and experienced in this industry, still going somewhere where you may not be familiar with everyone there can be a little anxiety-ridden or daunting. So just really give yourself time to open up. If you are one of those people who need that time, allow yourself that grace to give yourself that time, because I'm sure Andrew or myself or someone else there is going to pull you along, be like, hey, you know, how are you? How are you doing? So give yourself that space and grace if you need it. But other than that, I just say, you know, meet as many people as you can, because they're all there for the same reason as you, to have experiential learning and have a great time.
And everybody wants to see us grow stronger together. We're here
absolutely.
to help.
Yeah, I think, you know, kind of echoing that, like, and it can be tough to do, but drop your guard at the door. You know, like this is a place where everybody is here to grow. And so, you know, if you're willing to lay it on the line and share your challenges, I guarantee you there's somebody in that room who's been in those shoes and is willing to share some insight, share some advice, share some best practices, heck, even just be a sounding board for you. So, you know, if you can drop your guard, and it can be tough in this industry, but if you can drop your ego as well, and just kind of be open and receptive to the environment that CBP Connects is, you'll get the most out of it. You know, if you go in there with, this is just another event, I'm going to go have fun, and, you know, I'm just here because my boss told me to be, you're going to have a good time, but you're not going to get the most out of the experience. Whereas if you go in there and say, look, you know, in advance, these are the challenges that I'm dealing with my tap room, with my staff, with our innovation, whatever your challenges may be, if you do that legwork just to understand where you have the most opportunity to improve, you will find somebody who will be able to help you improve that. So drop your guard, drop your ego, be open to growth and improvement, and you'll get it. You really will.
Josh, you set me up pretty well. One of the things I love about CBP virtually is just seeing people ask questions and the community come together to provide their feedback, their insights, you know, what's worked, what maybe hasn't worked. So we're going to attempt to translate that to an in-person session. We're calling it crowdsourced. It's going to be a collaborative hour of problem solving. So this is when, if you have a question, raise your hand. You're going to get feedback or insight from 200 industry professionals from across the country who want to help you succeed. So I'm really excited to see that one come out. To have people ask questions and learn from one another in the same space.
Yeah, that's gonna be a lot of fun.
Well, as we count down the days to Charleston, once again, December 4, 5, and 6, CBP Connects Charleston. I can't wait to see all of you there. But there's still time to grab your registration. You can go to cbpconnects.com. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. There's going to be a lot of fun. Once again, there's going to be 12 interactive sessions, 3 nightly receptions. We're going to be at Holy City, Common House, and New Realm. The beer is going to be delicious. Josh, I didn't ask you. Have you been to Charleston?
I actually haven't. I'm really looking forward to it. I've done spent a lot of time on the northern counterpart of the Carolinas, but not in the southern Carolina. So, you know, now moving up to the Midwest, I'm excited to get back down to the South.
Well, so none of us have experienced Charleston before. We're all going to get to do it together. I can't wait. I appreciate all of you, and I'll see you in just a few weeks. Cheers, everybody.
See y'all.
Awesome. Thank you.
Cheers.